Is Dricus Du Plessi underrated? What do you guys think about that? Robert Whitaker did a very interesting piece. That fight's a tough one for me. So it's a real tough one. It's not a big draw because you got Robert Whitaker, right? You instantly, you don't have a draw. And that fight appears to be standing in the way of a really important fight, which is Du Plessis versus Adesanya. And the way things come about, they come about certain ways all the time. This wasn't in the way. We had Du Plessis versus Adesanya. We then put it in the way. We put an obstacle here. And I have the foggiest idea why. I just never understood it. I'd love if somebody told me. So, to get what we want, or what we need, which is Du Plessis versus Izzy, to get to that, we got to get through Whitaker. That isn't going to happen. Now, just because Chael says it doesn't make it so. 50% possible, maybe it is going to happen, right? What difference does that make? Why did we put it in the way in the first place? And there's certain guys that aren't ready, and it's not because they don't have the skills, it's because they don't have the most important thing. If you want a world title fight, the most important thing you got to have is the mandate of the masses. And if you don't have that, sometimes they got to build you, they got to put you in somewhere. And of course, if Du Plessis beat Whitaker, he would be more popular coming out the back end, but guys, by barely. I mean, you're not going to get much of a bump for that. I don't mean to pick on Whitaker, by the way. One of the great skills. He's a kind person. He's intelligent. He's a good family man. I only have good things to say about him. He doesn't understand this arm of it, and it's to the point that it's harmful. It's detrimental. I have come on this program, the #1 and most influential program in our sport, 4 times, and I have said that Robert Whitaker can't get another fight with Izzy because of things that he did leading into his last fight with Izzy. Robert Whitaker's never called me to ask me what it is I'm talking about. That's a problem. Robert Whitaker's manager has never called me and said, hey, what do you know? Who told you what? What did we do during this last fight? Why are you so sure we can't get a title fight? Why are you saying that about my client? They've never asked me. That's weird. That's unprofessional, and it's weird. But it doesn't change the fact that, guys, I don't know if that fight's a main event. I don't know when those guys are fighting. I know it's got to be coming up. I know there's rumbles and rumors of Adesanya headlining a card, specifically in Australia and specifically at the very end of August. And he has absolutely no opponent. So, if I were to bet, based on what I just said, they're going to fight pretty soon, but I don't know when. And I'll repeat, I don't know if it's a main event. That's not my fault. That's theirs. But that's the point that I'm making for you. They do such a bad job of going. Now, Du Plessis is not guilty of this. Du Plessis has not only done a great job for this, he's done a great job in his previous fights. He did a great job on December 10th. I never could tell you dates. I couldn't tell you dates that I fought. He did a great job on December 10th of last year because he was so upset that he was on the card at middleweight and Bo Nickel was on the main card the same night at middleweight. Bo Nickel got hurt, came off the card, and Du Plessis moved up. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Did a great job. And Whitaker came out today, though, and he said that he is underrated. That one of the reasons Du Plessis was such a difficult fight for his last several opponents is they didn't know what they were getting into. They didn't prepare the right way. They didn't respect him the right way. And I most definitely get that concept. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, not an injury ahead of time, not a death in the family. There is nothing that will change a match quicker than finding yourself in a match that's harder than you thought it was going to be. It does not matter how hard it is. If it's harder than you thought it was going to be, You will unravel in the moment. Your mind will go to 5 different places while you got to be focused on this guy. Your mind is in all. It's a mess when that happens. So I got Whitaker's point, and I will tell you, for Whitaker to be of that mindset is very intelligent. It's very responsible, and Whitaker is very good. I mean, this is a helpful and positive mindset for Whitaker. One of the things, if you were to call an upset here, one of the things, if you say, yeah, I don't think Whitaker, I think Du Plessis, I think this is his time. If you were to do that, one of the things that you would be hedging on is that Whitaker is approaching this wrong. And based on this interview Whitaker just did, he's approaching this right. So it strengthens my resolve that Whitaker's going to win this fight that the world doesn't want to see in the first place, that I think is coming up soon and might even be a main event. I don't think it's too late. There's not going to be anyone holding pitchforks and torches if you change that card. There'll be nobody that cares if that fight gets scrapped. But it's going to be a really big deal if we don't have an opponent for Adesanya coming up in August. Stop the fight. It's not too late. Stop the fight. Make Du Plessis in the title fight, which is where he should be, and I think is the direction that we're going with this, if he can beat Whitaker, which he can't. So why hold the match? It's not as though anyone's going to see it anyway. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? That's an age-old question, but you want to know the answer to it? No. The answer's no.